So welcome again to English Satsang, organized by North America Institute of Vihangam Yoga. In current times, our day-to-day life has become so busy in fulfilling our physical and mental requirements and social responsibilities that we have forgotten about most important thing which resides in this body, which is our soul. So first of all, I would like to congratulate each one of you for taking some time out of your busy schedules to fulfill requirements of our soul through this satsang. So today we will continue our discussion about liberation, and Vijayji will help us understand that topic in depth. So we will move on to our topic of discussion for today, which is liberation. So I hand it over to Vijayji to take it from here. Over to you, Vijayji.
Jai Sudev. For past few weeks, we have been diving deeply in detail about how a soul in bondage can progress in the path of liberation and even eventually culminate into union with Almighty. So before making further progress, I would like to just recap on some of the important elements that we discussed so far. Now, when we look at this picture here, we know that these are just the symbolic representation of the elements and should not be understood as is picture of what they exist as in reality. So the bigger circle that you see is the representation of the Almighty, though the Almighty is bondless, but just to show that everything is contained within the conscious ocean of Almighty. We are representing it here as a bigger circle, and everything is contained within this ocean of Almighty. So Almighty is just one entity whose consciousness is everywhere. Within the Almighty, in the one quadrant of Almighty, is a zone of creation. And the entity that appears first in this zone of creation is the Akshar Brahm. So that you see the next circle here. This is Akshar Brahm. Akshar Brahm is another entity who appears in the zone of creation, which is one quadrant of Almighty. And the remaining three quadrant of Almighty is the purest form of Satchidanand, where there is no creation, there is no inertness. And this is what is the abode of liberation as well. So when the soul liberates and eventually move out of the creation, they go in this zone of creation, which is called Tripad Amrit, tri-quadrant immortal zone, Tripad Amrit. So this zone of liberation is the purest abode of Sat Chit Anand, where there is no inertness. In this zone where the Akshar Brahm appears, he causes vibration in the fundamental atom of creation, which is called Parmanu, which is also called Prakriti. So Prakriti is the fundamental atom, and they are not one or two. The fundamental atoms are infinite in numbers. The infinite fundamental atom of creation. And that's why the creation is still happening. Creation is still expanding. And how it is expanding? Because at the periphery of this creation is the Parmanu Mandal, the zone of atoms which are being activated by the vibration of the Akshar Brahm. And those Parmanu are combining together to create the different elements of this creation. So if you look at this darker circle, within this creation that represent darker circle within Akshar Brahm that represents the creation. So the darker oval shape, the circle that you see here is the creation which is contained within Akshar Brahm. This creation cannot go beyond the consciousness of Akshar Brahm. How much can this creation expand? It can expand only within the realm of the vibration that the Akshar Brahm has created in the zone. It cannot go beyond the vibration of Akshar Brahm. And that is why in every coordinate of the creation exists the vibration of Akshar Brahm. There is no place in this creation where Akshar Brahm consciousness is not there. There is no place in this creation where the consciousness of Almighty is not there. Because everything is contained within the consciousness of Almighty, and the creation is contained within the consciousness of Akshar Brahm, within the vibration of Akshar Brahm. And in this creation, it is only the human being alone who have been created very divinely, where you can go beyond the perception of senses. Beyond the perception of senses. There is no other species who can experience the consciousness other than human being. Even though you might have impression that there are certain species who can sense something beyond what human being can do. But what they sense is not the consciousness. They sense the physical signals. They sense the subtle form of the creation, but not the consciousness. It is only the human being. And that's why human being is a rare opportunity. Getting birth in a human life is a precious gift of Almighty. And the only reason why this is precious is because only in the human being you have the 10th door. The 10th door. And the moment you attempt to bring out your consciousness from the 10th door, not the other 9 doors that you have been already using in your day-to-day life, beyond the 9 doors, the secret 10th door, which is there only in the human being. When you learn the art of taking your consciousness outside the 10th door, that is when you obtain the ability to experience the consciousness. And that's why it is said, Navadwara Sansaraka, Dasma Yogi Tar. So 9 doors are for the worldly being, but the 10th door is for a yogi. Only a yogi can use the 10th door. And beyond 10th door, there is the 11th window, or the 11th door. This 11th door that you see is the abode where you eventually will experience the flow of supreme being energy. And then you can reach to the zone of liberation, which is the purest abode of bliss, only when you pass through the 11th door. Now, when you have this pictorially clear in you, many people may have questioned that there are different paths that we hear. Some people say just chanting name of Almighty is enough. Just maybe doing good karma in life is enough for you to get rid of cycle of life and death. But please try to understand scientifically here. No matter what you do, unless that make you go through the 10th door, rise with the Makartar to reach to the 11th door and pass through 11th door. Only when this happens, you can liberate. But if it doesn't happen, then whatever experience you're getting, you're getting the experience at the level of body, at the level of mind, something which is only from the creation, good or bad, but you'll be trapped within the sensory limits of your body. So no matter how good you feel doing whatever form of practice you are doing, it does not lead you to the liberation unless it opens the 10th door and you rise with the Makartar to the 11th door and pass through 11th door. So what is this path called which lead a soul from 10th door to 11th door, and then this very secret path that lead you to Almighty. This very secret path, the 11th door, and also passing from 10th door, reaching to the realm of Akshar Brahm, and eventually passing through 11th door to reach the realm of Almighty. This is what is called Paravidya. Paravidya. When we say Paravidya, which is the synonym of Vihangam Yoga, why is it called why it is called Paravidya? Para means something beyond. Beyond. Para means beyond. Beyond what? Beyond senses. That means there is two streams of knowledge. One is called apara and another one is called para. So all different stream of practices which do not lead you in the space of consciousness through the 10th door. Through the 9 doors, you always lead to the sansara only, because now dwara sansara ka. 9 doors are for sansara only. Now dwara sansara ka dashma yogitar. Unless we learn the art of going beyond 10th door, you do not reach to the realm of paravidya. So aparavidya and paravidya, there are two streams of knowledge. And so Rishi said, Dve vidye veditabhye iti hasma yad brahmvido vadanti paracha aparacha. There are two streams of knowledge. One is called paravidya, one is called aparavidya. So the liberation is the subject of paravidya. Liberation is not the subject of aparavidya. Liberation is the subject of paravidya. No matter how good you feel in the mind when you do whatever practices you do, but if it is confined within the aparavidya, then your experiences are going to last as long as you're able to contain your body. Once you lose your body, once you die, everything vanishes, because you did not progress into the space of consciousness. For example, somebody is very good at hatha yoga. As long as the body is fit, with the hatha yoga also, with the control over his breath, he can open the 10th door. But that will not lead to the space of consciousness. He will see the light, but that light will be the light of Parmanu Mandal, not the light of Akshar Brahm. All the experiences that a Hatha yogi can have is the experience of the creation. There is light in the creation also, but not the space of consciousness. So the moment you lose the strength of your breath, you lose the strength of your body, and one day you die, the soul is still as ignorant as it was before. What you perfected as a Hatha yogi was over your body and breath, which you lost. So what you perfected, that's why Swamiji says, the present Sadguru, Sutan Devji Maharaj says that people are busy strengthening the foundation that has to shatter one day. What does not shatter, what does not break is the soul. So unless we uplift the ability of the soul, there is actually no progress we are making in the journey of spiritualism. If you upgrade your body, if you upgrade your breath into a different level, there's something which is anyway going to be left behind. So the real progress that the soul can get is only when you choose a path where you can go beyond senses. And that is what is Paravidya. And that is what is called Vihangam Yoga. As the word says, Vihang means the bird. The reason it is called Vihangam Yoga because the bird leaves the base behind and fly free. So does the soul need to set itself free from the dependencies over senses for experiencing the ultimate entity. The soul free from the body, free from the senses, on its own is capable to experience the self and the Supreme Almighty. And that is what is exactly the path of Vihangam Yoga. So in this journey, when we know that we need to enter into the space of consciousness, you require a bandishor, one who liberates, the liberator. There is a messenger of Almighty, and that is what is called Sadguru. You need Sadguru to take you in the path of Paravidya. Paravidya means that it is something beyond your contemplation. You cannot even think about Paravidya. What the journey in Paravidya would be like, you cannot think because it is beyond your thinking. It is beyond mind, it is beyond intellect. It is only something that can be gifted to us. You need a giver of Paravidya. You need a giver. Unless there is a able entity who can give you this Paravidya, you cannot get it because it is beyond the reach of our body, breath, and mind. It is agam agochar. It is beyond the senses. And that's why there is huge importance of searching, seeking the ultimate master, Sadguru. It is important to find the true master who has command over the Paravidya. The ultimate success of the human life, this human life, is to find the shelter of Sadguru. Rest is in Sadguru's hand, where he can take us to. But the ultimate success of the human life, I would say, is to find the shelter of Sadguru and remain in the shelter of Sadguru. Whether you reach the end of the journey or not, it doesn't matter. But if you reach to the end of your breath, remaining in the shelter of Sadguru, then you have lived your human life successfully. Because the beauty of Sadguru is that if he holds your hand, he is not holding your human body, he is holding your soul. Mukti tak sambandh Gurudeva. The relationship of a soul with Sadguru lasts even beyond mukti, even beyond liberation. So until you reach the liberation, the zone of liberation, it does not matter how many times you have to take birth. Sadguru will again bring you in his shelter. If we spend one life in an attempt to progress in the Paravidya under the shelter of Sadguru, then after this life is complete, you will not be deserted by the Sadguru. This is what makes Sadguru different from any worldly guru, because Sadguru has a relation with the soul, not with the body. And there have been several such incidences in our Vihangam Yoga where we have seen ourselves that how a yogi from the previous life is back in this life again in the shelter of Sadguru. And those yogis remember their previous life. It is a vivid proof that once you lose one life, your journey in Vihangam Yoga is going to carry forward in the next life, because the relationship with Sadguru is with your soul, not with your body. So Sadguru is one very important element in this journey. The Makartar is very important in this journey. Swamiji says that in any yoga path or whatever path of devotion that we are following, if there is no knowledge of Makartar in that path, then it is a path in darkness. Without having access to Makartar, without knowing Makartar, talking about liberation and true devotion is like speaking in darkness, not knowing the reality. So the knowledge of Makartar is the pivotal element in this journey, because this is what is going to lead you to the 11th door and eventually to the Almighty. So the knowledge of Makartar is essential in this journey. And then the art of converting our Surati to Nirati. This is also very essential part of this journey. Surati is the consciousness of the soul, and Nirati is the finest consciousness of the soul. So only when we have the art, or it's not actually our art, only when we have the association with the Sadguru in this journey, then it is with Sadguru's grace, with his blessings, our Surati transcends into more finer form called Nirati. Again, with the blessings of Sadguru only. Because we won't know how to make it further finer level to be able to cross through the 11th door. It is again Sadguru's blessings that works there, and his mercy works there, that he lead our consciousness to go to that level. So we cannot imagine this journey without having devotional relation with Sadguru. Only with that, the transition of a Surati is possible to go to the level of Nirati. And it is only Nirati that passes through the 11th door. The soul still is still in the body only. It is the consciousness of the soul that is traveling in this journey, and it unites with the Almighty after it passes through the 11th door. And in this entire journey, you will realize that it is very important to stay in the path shown by Sadhguru, because only in that instructed path you will be able to reach to that journey, to the ultimate destination. If you divert from there, then you will not get the experience. Moreover, you will risk your life, because this journey requires control over the breath, control over the mind. It requires you to take your consciousness beyond your body. So this must be done under the devotional relation with Sadhguru. Because Sadhguru will not be physically present when you are meditating. Sadhguru will be present in his divine zone. And only when you have devotional relation with Sadhguru, things will work out. Anyway, otherwise you will not progress. Without devotional relation with Sadhguru, anyway, we will not progress in the space of consciousness. But despite you have the devotional relation, you are still independent. How much devotion you have Sadhguru is one thing, but it does not take the freedom out of you to go or divert away from what Sadhguru will ask you to do in meditation. So once you go in the space of consciousness, now it is up to you either to stay in the path of Makartar or to divert away from there in the curiosity. Because the soul is always free to raise, to direct its consciousness to anywhere it wants. And so Sadgurudev says, Map Nap Nishchay Bhaya, Theek Thikana Nishan, Mandal Se Bahar Nahi Adbhut Khela Saman. You will progress into the ultimate union with Almighty only when you stay intact with the Sadguru Bhumi. Whatever Sadguru is saying, if you stay intact with his light in that path, it is only then it will give you the experience of the union with Almighty. In one of the previous session, I had said that Sadguru Dharmchand Devji Maharaj, when he was in that zone, he had curiosity to explore further and he risked his life. And then Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has to interfere to save him. By mistake, I said he coughed, but actually he had inhaled. Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj took few deep breath in. He did the inhalation, deep inhalation, to infuse the breath in Sadhguru Dharmchand Devji Maharaj, though he was remote. Both were remote, but divinely the things were working because Sadhguru's energy is present everywhere. So it is not the physical presence of Sadhguru that we are talking about, but it is the devotional presence of Sadhguru, which is essential in this path of meditation. Do we keep Sadhguru in our memory, in our mind when we are sitting in meditation? It is essential to remember Sadhguru and ask for his guidance, ask for his mercy, ask for his presence in this journey, and believe that it is Sadhguru who is capable to lead me in this. And all we can do is just have devotion for him and then stay intact at the focal point with that devotion. There are 5 stages of Vihangam Yoga through which Sadhguru then lead you into the ultimate union. And that is how we eventually end the 3 bondages once we cross the 11th door and unite with Almighty. we break free from all the three bondages. So तीनों ग्रंथि खुलिया संशय कर्म विनाश ब्रह्म विद्या प्रताप से आपे आप विकास. So this Brahma Vidya is what is Paravidya. The Brahma Vidya is the subject of Paravidya. Brahma Vidya is not the subject of senses, not the subject of speech, not the subject of breath. No matter how many lives you keep chanting the name of Almighty with your speech, you are not in the realm of Brahma Vidya, because he is agochar, he is beyond the senses, beyond the speech. That's why it's called agochar. ब्रह्म विद्या चिनगी उड़ी लगी कर्म घर आग कर्म वासना जर गई चेतन चेतन जाग. Once we enter into the realm of pure bliss, the stream of Brahma energy, the Almighty's energy come down to our heart, and all the karmas, all the sanchit karma, the accumulated karma which were there in chitta, they burn and vanishes. So we are free from all the bondage of karma. Once we attain union with Almighty, all our karma burns, it vanishes. Then what remains is only the human body, which is the result of prarabdha. So what remains is only prarabdha karma, but there is no residual of any karma which will bind you. Only the prarabdha is what you still need to go through, but no other karma. So all the three bondages end with the God realization. And so Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj says in Udghosh, Udghosh is a proclamation. He proclaimed how I will lead you to the land of immortality. He says, Adbhut Marg Yog Vihangam मैं तुमको बतलाऊंगा यदि विधिवत तुम साधन करियो अमर लोक पहुंचाऊंगा. I will teach you the divine, the wondrous path of Vihangam Yoga, and if you practice it as prescribed, then I'll lead you to the zone of immortality. And how will he lead? He speaks about all the steps in this proclamation. He says, Prakriti Adhar to hi chodvaun nij swarup thahraunga. He says that I will set your consciousness free from the dependencies on your body for sensing anything. When we say Prakriti Adhar to hi chodvaun, it means that right now we are dependent on our body, our senses for experiencing anything. So what is the basis of our experience right now? The basis of our experience is our body, our mind, our intellect, our senses. This is the basis of our experience. So Swamiji says, your basis of experience itself, I will make it the consciousness of the soul, not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, not the breath. I will take your consciousness beyond it. The beautiful thing about proclamation is that with complete authority, he is saying, in Hindi, the grammar, when you see this batlaunga, pahuchaunga, ठहराऊंगा, धराऊंगा, this grammar of Hindi says that the person who is saying this, he is taking the responsibility of doing it. Just think about it. Can you take the responsibility with confidence about your children, your son, your daughter, that I will make you engineer, I will make you doctor, I'll make you a scholar of this subject. Can you do that? Are you 100% sure that you can do that? Probably not, because you don't know how my son and daughter will do. But who can have the confidence? Let's say I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire or billionaire. And I know that I will not lose this wealth. I cannot lose this wealth. Nobody can snatch this wealth from me. Then definitely I can I can tell this to my son and daughter that once you follow the instructions that I say, I can guarantee that I'll award you with the millions or the billions of money. I will award you that much of wealth. And I can tell you with 100% confidence. So the Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj's proclamation is symbolizing the authority of Sadguru. That Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj is a true authorized Sadguru. And who authorized him as Sadguru? If he would have self-acclaimed himself as Sadguru, then of course this could be a false proclamation. He proclaimed this because he was truly an authorized Sadguru, authorized by the Nityanadi Sadguru, the eternal Sadguru, one of the four eternal entities, one of the four eternal conscious entity is eternal Sadguru. And that eternal Sadguru chose him and passed his knowledge, wisdom, power to the soul of Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. Then he became Sadguru. So with his authority, he says that I will take your consciousness beyond Prakriti. Surati ulati ke gagan chadhaun, dori makar dharaunga. He is outlining all the steps. He said, I'll take you beyond body. That means he's going to take us. When he says Prakriti adhara tohi chadwaun nij swarup thaharaunga, he means that I will take you beyond your 10th door. I will take you. See, thaharaunga, chodaunga, meaning it is Sadguru's divine interference which is going to happen to make all this happen in our meditation. We must know very clearly that it's not solely our effort, but it is Sadguru's blessings in every step. So Prakriti Adhar Tohi Chodavaun. I will open your 10th door and take you beyond body. And then Surati Ulati ke gagan chadaun dori makar dharaunga. Now your consciousness, once it's outside the 10th door, I will not let it go downward again. I will let it go upward now. So I will reverse the flow of your consciousness from Ardh to Ud, from downward to the worldly subject to the Almighty. I will reverse the flow of consciousness from outward to inward. So again, who will do that? It is Sadguru. Sadguru has that pulling power which can pull your consciousness from anywhere you are. If Sadguru will desire, he can pull your consciousness from there to wherever he wants. So Surati Ulatike Gagan Chadaun, who will take you to this space of consciousness? It is Sadguru. And then Dori Makkar Dharaunga. It is Sadguru who is going to then guide you, that hold this flow of energy called the Makar Tar, which is sustaining the flow of Brahma energy. It is Sadguru who is going to make you do that. And then Pind Brahmand Shunya Jo Arsat Ta Upar Baithaunga. He will actually take you beyond Srishti. Within the Srishti, within the creation, within the body are the Shunyas. and he will take you beyond this creation. Anubhav darshe moti barse ammi anadya anvaunga. And he is going to take you to the abode where different pearls of knowledge will start shower onto you. Just imagine that you have no knowledge about the creation, how the creation happens, how the dissolution happens, how the births happen, how the deaths happen. You have no knowledge about something before birth and after death, and something which happens in the span of, let's say, billions and trillions of years. How a human being who lives only for 100 years, or few more years, beyond 100 years, how can a person living in a limited time frame can know everything which happens in the span of trillions of years? This happens because the Sadguru has the power to shower you with the stream of knowledge. And that's what it is said here, that Anubhav darshe moti barse ami anadya anvaunga. That in this journey, once you enter in the space of consciousness and you progress through the Makartar and reach to the 11th door, the stream of knowledge, in all this process, everywhere the stream of knowledge will shower on you. Based on where you reach, you will attain the pearls of knowledge showering onto you, and that knowledge will be yours. You will feel as if you have experienced it yourself. Though those knowledge, those experience will be gifted to you. Who will gift it? Sadguru will gift you that. But it is as if right now, if I ask you that, when you were in the childhood time, what was the most cherished moment? You can again relive that moment. You can relive that moment, right? If you try to recall those moments, you are able to recall it as if it is happening now, and as if you have, I mean, not as if, but you have really gone through it. You have gone through those experiences, and so you are able to recall it. So your experience is contained within you. Similarly, when Sadguru gives the knowledge and the experience in this process, it will be your own, as if you have gone through it. So the entire knowledge of how the creation happens, how the dissolution happens, pralay happens, this will be showered onto you as if you have seen yourself how the creation is happening and how the pralay is happening, as if you have seen yourself. So that knowledge will be your own experience. And how will that be your own experience? Because the experience itself will be passed on to you by the Sadguru Dev. So Anubhav darshe moti barse ami anadya anvaunga. I will shower you with the knowledge, the stream of knowledge, with the stream of experiences. Shuddha रूप तो ही हंस बनाऊं परम पुरुष दिखलाऊंगा. So I'll make you your purest form, the Hansa Deha, which is what you truly are. You are a Hansa body. The remaining all layers of the body, I will set you free from the other layers, and I'll establish you in your purest Hansa Deha, and I'll show you the Almighty. Param Purush Dikhlaunga. That's why in our slogan in Vihangam Yoga, it is Sadguru's Vani, it says, Ishwar hai, milaunga. God is there and I will show you that. Ishwar hai, milaunga. Only Sadguru can tell this. Everybody else you will hear saying, it's your own journey, only you. I can only give you the technique, but you have to do it yourself and it will lead you there. As if it's not in their hand to take you to that abode. And that is true because it is only in the hand of the entity who is holding Sadguru power, Sadguru energy. शुद्ध रूप तो ही हंस बनाऊं, परम पुरुष दिखलाऊंगा, I will show you the Almighty. वहां के दृश्य कौन मैं वर्णो वाणी बुद्धि न पाऊंगा. And the experience that you will get once I'll show you the Almighty, that you cannot explain in words. Vani buddhi na paunga. The speech and the intellect do not have the capability to explain that. महाप्रभु अनंत दया में उनसे तो ही मिलाऊंगा, कहे सदाफल परमानंदा आवागमन मिटाऊंगा. I will make you unite with Almighty, and that will end your cycle of life and death. So this divine proclamation, who can do it? The one who is 100% confident about it, because one who is truly having the authority, power, and control in this journey. The key to liberation is with Sadguru. It is not even with Almighty. Almighty also cannot liberate you. Almighty also cannot liberate you, because Almighty has made the system and he's just Sakshi. He's just watchful. Almighty is just watching everything. It is Sadguru who is Bandichor. Sadguru can give you the Almighty. Almighty can give you only the fruits of your karma. Almighty can only give you the fruits of your karma. But Sadguru can give you the Almighty Himself. Sadguru can give you the Almighty Himself. And that is why it is said, Guru Govind Dou Khade. Both are there. Then who should we hold the feet of? We should hold the feet of Sadguru. Because Sadguru can give you the Almighty. Almighty cannot give Himself to you. Almighty cannot give Himself to you. Because Almighty is already there. Almighty is already there. He cannot give Himself further to you. Almighty is already there. How much more He can give Himself to you? He is already there within you. When we say Almighty cannot give Himself to you, it simply means that Almighty is already there. Now you need Sadguru to unveil Almighty to you. Almighty is already there. How much more He can come closer to you? He's already closer to you. He is the closest entity. He's already within you. How much more Almighty can do? So what we need is the Sadguru who can unveil, who can remove the darkness of Maya and show Almighty to us. And that's why Sadguru is essential. And that's why we need to find the human form of Sadguru, who is holding the stream of Brahma energy. The Almighty's energy is flowing through him. When you experience Almighty, you won't even realize that because you will be actually experiencing Sadguru. अंड मंडलाकार है व्यापक विश्व महान, सो सदगुरु का रूप है अनुभव में पहचान. When you reach to the abode of samadhi, whatever you experience there is actually the Sadguru's non-human form, the conscious form. And you will find no difference of Sadguru and the Almighty in that abode when you experience Him. For a devotee, it becomes impossible to differentiate the entity of Sadguru and Almighty, because Sadguru is soaked into Almighty. Sadguru is carrying Almighty's all property within himself because he is soaked into Almighty. Just like the iron ball is put in the fire and it does not separate from there ever. And so Sadguru is always soaked with all the property of Almighty, and this is what is his first quality, inseparable quality. He has 20 divine qualities. Sadguru has 20 divine, and the very first quality is that Sadguru is Sachidanand Swarup. Sadguru is Sachidanand Swarup. Sadguru is one who is the representation of Almighty's quality and the form. सदगुरु परमात्मा के व्यक्त स्वरूप है. That is his first divine quality. So when we liberate, as we understood that the soul stays in the heart, in the body, only the consciousness reaches there first, because you reach the liberation while in meditation. So of course that form of liberation is called a living liberation. It's called Jivan Mukti. So there are two kinds of liberation. One is the liberation while living in the body, which is called Jivan Mukti. And one is the liberation where you discard your body as well. That is called Videha Mukti, meaning the liberation where you have no body now. But you can understand which one will come first, which liberation will come first, Jivan Mukti or Videha Mukti. Of course, the Jivan Mukti will come first. Only if you become Jivan Mukt, only when you become living liberated, then only you leave your body at will and you become Videha Mukti, liberated without body. It's not that you are not liberated by living in the body and you die and you will be Videha Mukti. No, that doesn't happen. Videha Mukti is after Jivan Mukti. Only when we attain the state of Jivan Mukti, then only all you need to now pass through is your prarabdha. Once your prarabdha is over, then you sit at will in Yoga Mudra and you leave your body after going through all prarabdha. But the state of the soul, whether it is within the body or it is beyond the body and in the jiva, in the videha mukt state, the state of the state of the soul, whether in jivan mukti or in videha mukti, is perfectly on the basis of Almighty only. It is just same. There is no difference of liberation or the experience of the liberation. There is no difference between Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. The only difference is that the Jivan Mukti is a state where you're still contained within a body, but your experience of a mukti, of a bliss, of Almighty is exactly same. It is just that you are with body, and in Videha Mukti you are without body. And so Swamiji says in Svarved, जीवन मुक्ति में देह है, मुक्ति विदेह न दे, दोनों शब्द आधार है, समरस परम स्नेह. It is exactly same experience, samras, param स्नेह. Both are on the basis of Almighty only, but it is just that the soul is in the zone of creation, and in the Videha Mukti, the soul will move to the zone of pure bliss. In Jivan Mukti, the soul is still in the one quadrant, the zone of creation, whereas in Videha Mukti, the soul will move to the zone of tri-quadrant, pure bliss. महकारण कैवल्य दो जीवन मुक्ति नहीं दे, देह चार वे रहते रह असंग निज गे. So when you attain the liberation while living in the body, what is the state you are in? You are in the state of enlightenment. So when you are in the state of true knowledge without any illusion, then of course you have already got rid of the Kaivalya Deha. There is no Kaivalya Deha then. So in the state of Jivan Mukti, there is no Kaivalya Deha. There is no Mahakaran Deha also, because now you are completely in the devotion of Almighty. You have no attraction towards Prakriti. There is no desire, the worldly desire within you. In that state of Jivan Mukt, you do not have the Vasana or the Raga of the Prakriti. Whatever you do in the Prakriti is your mercy. It is your mercy. With mercy, you are staying in the world and doing good to the world. But you have no raga with the samsara. So there is no Mahakaran also. Mahakaran body is a body of corrupted desire, where you desire for the world. You desire for the world. You are after the worldly pleasures. This very foundation of worldly desire actually comes from Mahakaran Deha. So when you attain the Jivan Mukta state, there is no Kaivalya Deha, there is no Mahakaran Deha, but the other four bodies are there. You still have the Hansa body, because that is what you truly are. You are Hansa Deha, so that of course will be there. And then you have three Prakritik body, the body which is part of the creation. Meaning you still have the Karan Deha, you still have the Sukshma Deha, and you still have the Sthul Deha. But even though you have those layers of the body, you are not attached to it. Rah asang nij geh. Rah asang nij geh. Even though you are contained within those three body, but you are detached from your body. So only physically you are contained within it, but spiritually your consciousness is not constrained by it. Your consciousness is liberated. It can do all the stuff that a Videha Mukti can do. You can still experience things which are beyond your body, because you are only contained within the body, but you are free from the limits of the body. So in Jivan Mukti, the four bodies are there, but Mahakaran and Kaval bodies are not there anymore in Jivan Mukti. And in Videha Mukti, all the five bodies are gone. Only the one body, which is your own true body, the Hansa Deha, only that remains. In Videha Mukti, only Hansa Deha remains. In Jivan Mukti, you have four bodies. And so Jivan Mukti, the Jivan Mukta Hansa, even after they are done with the Prarabdha, even after the Prarabdha Bhoga is done, then it is the wish of the Jivan Mukta Rishi to stay as long as it feels the need of staying in the body, or to liberate, to leave the body. It will be at will afterwards. So Jivan Mukt, even after completing the Prarabdha Bhoga, can continue to live in the body or in the world at his own desire, at his own wish. And there are three different ways that Jivan Mukt secretly stays in this worldly creation. And even today, there are many rishis who are present in his Gupta state, hidden state. So there are three different ways. Gupta hoye teen bhati se Jivan Mukt sansar. There are three different ways that the Jivan Mukt will hide himself from the world. योग केल आश्चर्यमय महिमा पुरुष अपार. जीवन मुक्ति योगी संसार में तीन प्रकार से गुप्त होते हैं. उनकी योग क्रीड़ा आश्चर्य में है, उस परम पुरुष की महती महिमा है. महाप्रलय कर देह रह, एक त्याग संसार, जीवन मुक्त त्रय भाव है, योगी सहज विचार. So one way of hiding is to do mahapralay of the body. When so that, by the way, there are three different ways. And what are those three different ways? Let's first make it very clear what the three different ways Sadhgurudev is talking here. So one is the mahapralay. Mahapralay of the body. Second is staying in the body. And the third is, you know, discarding the body. And then staying as the Hans Deha, roaming wherever you want, without body. Right? So without body. So out of these three, see, Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj first became Jivan Mukt, of course. And today also he is present in this world. So out of these three, which one do you think that Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj chose? In what form Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj chose to stay in this world? He chose to stay in this world without body. Neither he did the Mahapralay of the body, nor he continued with the same old body that he had. Rather, he left his body, and in the purest Hansa Deha, he is still present in this world. So these are the three different ways. What does the Mahapralay of the body means? It means that the way the atoms combine to create different elements, different elements of this creation, if they dissociates from each other, then that creation will vanish and it will convert back to the fundamental atoms. So yogi, the Jivan Mukti yogi, have the power to just dissociates the atoms of the body and vanish. The body itself will vanish into the atoms. Body will not exist. The creation of the body is made of five fundamental creation, the module of creation. Five fundamental module of creations are the Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi. These are the five modules of creation. So Jivan Mukti Yogi can reverse this creation and then, convert it into fundamental item. The body will just disappear. That is one way that the Jivan Mukt can hide himself from the rest of the people. The second one is Jivan Mukti Yogi can also sustain the body with the power of Akshar Brahm. The way the Akshar Brahm can create, sustain, and destroy the creation, the Sadguru also has that power. And if Sadguru will, or not the Sadguru, but any Jivan Mukti yogi will have that power. If Jivan Mukti yogi will choose to hold on to the body, it can do that. If it is desirable, if it is required, then it can hold on to the body as many years as it wants. So this is the second way. But then with the body, the Jivan Mukti yogi will be in a secret place if it has to hide. So there are three different ways it hides from the world. Either it just disappears, or it goes to the secluded place, somewhere in the cave or somewhere where no human being goes. and he'll be operating from there with the body. The Jivan Mukti Yogi will be controlling the minds of the people, and the wonders will be done by the people with the inspiration of those Jivan Mukti Yogi. And in that line, I would like to say that any wonders that you see a human being doing in this world, it is the influence of those Jivan Mukti yogis who are hiding from the world and are infusing those creativity, those thoughts, those inspiration to the able soul and make wonders in life. So behind the success of a human being is not only the woman, as the proverb says, that behind every success is a woman. Actually, behind every success is a Jivan Mukti Yogi. Jivan Mukti yogis who choose to stay in the world because they want to make the world better than what it is. They operate from their own place, controlling the thoughts, the inspirations, the creativity of a able soul. And through that soul, he will make things happen in the world. The wonders will happen in the world with the inspiration of Jivan Mukti Yogi. So Jivan Mukti, there are many thousands of Jivan Mukti yogis who are still operational, who are still helping world to get better by controlling the human minds. Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj chose to discard the body, and the very reason he chose to do that is because Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj took the pledge of liberating 100,000 souls. And only if he himself shows how a yogi can liberate, how a yogi can leave the body at will, then only it is authentic. So he gave an authentic proof about Vihangam Yoga, how a yogi in Vihangam Yoga can leave the body at will and can still operate at the level of the soul. So after leaving the body, he spoke from the sky for 15 minutes. And while he was speaking, the voice was sometimes loud. And then as he started moving from there to some other place, he said that he had to go to some place from there, from the Akash Marg, from the sky. He was traveling. And so his voice was also fading as he was traveling from one place to another place. But for 15 minutes, his voice was heard. And he says, I do not go anywhere. I will continue to stay till my pledge is over. And after that, I will think whether to continue further or leave the samsara after that. So Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj chose to discard the body and chose to be present in the world still in his purest body. So at the moment when the yogi leaves the body, that death is a different kind of death. That's called Jnana Maran. Karma Maran Sansara ka Jnana Maran hai Sant. Surati Dwar Hansa Chala Nij Ghar Milana Anant. When a yogi choose to get in the Videha Mukti, meaning go to the abode of three quadrant, the liberation beyond Prakriti, beyond creation, when the soul wants to migrate now from creation to the abode of bliss, that is what is called Gyan Maran. At will, the yogi choose now to leave the sansara and go to the zone of liberation. Because in that process, it passes through the 10th door and passes through the 11th door to reach the abode of bliss. That's called Jnanamaran. So Videha Mukti is the result of Jnanamaran, whereas the souls in bondages, they die under remaining entangled in the bondage of karma. Their karma is still the governing principles for their death and for their next life. They're still caught in karma. Who? The sansari, the worldly people who are not yogi, who have not attained the Jivan Mukta first. They die entangled in the shackle of karma, whereas a Videha Mukti is the result of Jnanamaran, where a yogi leaving the body or the death of a yogi is like a play with knowing everything. He is just playing with the death because at will he is leaving the body, knowing everything what's happening in the process. Awake, not forced, but awake, witnessing everything. He leaves the body. That's called Gyan Maran. Maran means death. Gyan means in knowledge. It's Gyan Maran. So कर्म मरण संसार का ज्ञान मरण है संत सूरति द्वार हंसा चला निज घर मिलन अनंत. बोले सदगुरुदेव की जय. So with this we conclude the discussion over liberation. Probably we can dedicate another week for just the question and answers throughout this process. Whatever we understood, we can reflect on it, we can give feedback, we can ask questions, we can dedicate one week, next week, let's say, the question and answer on liberation. Jai Sri Gurudev.
Thank you, Vijayji. That was really in-depth and helpful discussion to understand liberation. This was really, personally, I read those dohas in Surved and I had a lot of questions, but all of those were answered today. So thank you for, such a wonderful and informative session. So I would like to open up the floor. We will take only a couple of questions because looking at the time, we don't have much time. So we'll try to keep questions to limited. We'll just take 2 questions if we have any. And as Vijay said, if there are more questions, we can take them next week. Okay, so looks like we do not have questions today. So we'll take them next time.
Srirangji, Jai Sat Gurudev, this is Dipti.
Yes, Dipti, go ahead.
Yeah, Srirangji, I have a quick question for Vijayji. So actually, due to some, recent incident in my extended family, actually, I went through, few stuff about, other energies. And even in the prayer, we usually pray like, Aksha, Kinnar, Asur, those kind of things, right? So I'm just wondering, like, are they belong to that 84 lakhs yonis, or who are they actually? So I know it's a weird question for this session, but I'm little curious, and Vijayji can spend only 1 minute to answer this. I don't need any in-depth knowledge for this one. So that was my question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dipti. So when we hear about 84 lakh yoniya, 84 lakhs different types of species, 84 lakhs of different lives that exist on this earth, that 84 lakh number again is just a symbolic number. It does not mean that there are only 84 lakhs of different types of species. Swamiji said in Survey there are infinite types of species. 84 lakh is just a number. to symbolize, to represent different species. That is just a symbolic number. Actually, there are infinite different types of species, and the human being have not or will not be able to know all of them, the way it is progressing. Because the world, the creation is not having just one earth where life exists, but there are different other creation, different other living ambience where the species exist beyond the reach of a human being. So all these different types of species, Asur, Kinnar, um, that you spoke about, all these are different kind of species. But when we say um, some energy that you feel on this earth, of course there is a the in I mean there is a incarnation in the subtle body also. The subtle body which will not have the physical body, we call it Pret Yoni. Pret Yoni do exist. Pret Yoni do exist. And those Pret Yonis are basically the subtle body, but they would still have influence on the physical body. If it is capable, it can control the physical body also. So those energy exist. The Kinnar exist. Of course, Kinnar, I think Kinnar means transgender, I think, believe. I'm not very sure. But so that's also one type of species that exists. And similarly, when you say Yaksh, and also those are the divine species, but they exist. They exist on this earth. They exist on the different creation as well, depending on how the God has designed it. But there are more than 84 lakhs of species, infinite. Swamiji says Ananta Yoni exist. It's not just 84 lakhs.
Thank you so much, Vijayji. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Vijayji. And I was looking at the chat. So Ram Prasad ji, Utkarsh ji, and Tejinder ji has appreciated all the knowledge you have shared on this forum today. So thank you again. So let's move on to the next section of our satsang. Let me share my screen. So before we move on to closure of our session, we would like to take a moment and appreciate and recognize warriors of the week. We know that Brahma Muhurat time is the best time to meditate, which is between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. However, most of us are unable to take advantage of this time. To encourage all of us, Navy has started a WhatsApp group. It is called as Brahma Muhurat Warriors. Goal of that group is to encourage people to do meditate between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. All you have to do is just join the group, and then once you are done meditating during Brahma Muhurat time, you simply send a done message on the group to indicate that you have meditated during the Brahma Muhurat time. Just let us know if you want to join this group. In fact, the group information is available on Navy website. You can join those groups. The links are available online. We would encourage everyone to participate if you're not already participating. I know that some people think that just doing it on their own is enough, but if you can join the group and put a done message, that encourages other people to do meditation in the Brahma Muhurat time. So I would encourage everyone to join. If you're already meditating, that is really good, but also you take that opportunity to encourage other people. Apart from the warriors of the group, we also have another initiative which was started after Yeah, it's a 21-day meditation challenge. It was started after Namdevji Maharaj conducted sessions throughout the United States. So that group link is also available. Uh, that group slightly differs from the Warriors of the Week in the sense that that group helps you to get regular in the meditation, but it is not helping you to optimize your meditation time. So if you join the 21 day meditation challenge, it will help you get regular in your meditation, regardless of at what time you do the meditation. So that is a really nice group to join to begin your journey. And once you are regular in the meditation, then you can try to optimize your time and take advantage of a Brahma Muhurat time. So both groups information is available online. I encourage everyone to take advantage of one or both groups. So let's appreciate Warriors of the Week for this week. They are Alara Kanpil ji, Bhagwati Patel ji, Maya ji, Prachik Shirsagar ji. My name is also there, Surya Alam Raju ji, Tejinder ji, and Yogesh Shirsagar ji. These are the people who have meditated every day throughout the week during Brahma Muhurat time. We also have inductees of the week. A lot of these names are usually in the Warriors of the Week. So, life happens, and we sometimes miss that's the pious time. Sometimes we just sending message, miss sending message on a particular day. But anyways, all of your effort is really appreciated. You are also helping everyone to uh, get fired up and start meditating during Brahma Muhurat meditation time. So the inductees of the week are Amit Talekar ji, Jaswinder ji, Lalmani ji, Mayuri Krishnan ji, Monica ji, Ranjani ji, Sudhanshu Kumar ji, Tanuja ji, Utkarsh ji, and Vinita Kumari ji. Thank you all of you to encourage everyone and keeping everyone on the track to on this journey. So I would also like to take a moment to talk about 69th anniversary of Bade Swamiji. He discarded his mortal frame, and we celebrated that on 30th of Jan. We are also celebrating that event in North Carolina. We have that event on 11th of February. It is going to be in HSNC between 4 to 6 p.m. So we will be having a special satsang at that time. We will talk about the events that happened during the day when Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj discarded his body. We'll talk about about what he spoke within those 15 minutes, etc. So if you are local to NC, please join that satsang. That is a good opportunity to stay connected with Vihangam Yoga knowledge. And I would encourage everyone to spread the word and try to reach out to people, your friends and families who could, who are in North Carolina. Okay. So we have now reached to the last phase of today's workshop. In this phase, we chant short version of Guru Vandana, Aarti, and Shanti Pat. Guru Vandana is the prayer through which we seek blessings of Sadguru. We request well-being, health, wealth, and seek his blessings for spiritual knowledge. I would request Dev ji to sing last few lines of Vandana. Over to you, Dev ji. Dev ji, I see that you have come off of mute, but we still can't hear you. I think Dev ji is having some technical issue. I see that he rejoined again. Okay, let's give 30 seconds for him to see if that technical issue gets resolved. Otherwise, I'll ask someone else to volunteer. So looks like Devji is still having some technical issue. Devji, we are still not able to hear you. Do we have any volunteer for Guru Vandana?
I can do it, Srirangji.
Ji, Monica ji, go ahead.
प्रभु कल्प संत समाज उत्तम सर्वधर्म आचार्य है जिमिनाद्याश्रित सिंधु की है विश्व पथ माया कार्य है प्रभु सत्य संत समाज तेरा आप रक्षा कीजिए जन सदा फल ज्ञान भक्ति वृद्धि दिन दिन कीजिए.
Thank you, Monica ji. So our next prayer is Aarti. Here we acknowledge the power of Almighty and pray that all the disciples experience eternal joy, love, and freedom from worries under His holy guidance. I request everyone to stand up for Aarti, and I request. I see Dave Ji has come back online again. So let's see if Dave Ji is able to, sing Aarti now. Dave Ji, you can go ahead. Okay, so I think that issue is still there. So I would request Monica ji to go ahead and sing Aarti.
जी. गुरुमूर्ति गति चंद्रमा सेवक नयन चकोर पलक पलक निरखत रहे गुरुमूर्ति की ओर श्वेत श्वेत माया श्वेत है श्वेत श्वेत माया श्वेत तीन पाद अमृत भरा श्वेत महानद श्वेत अष्ट चक्र सब शून्य पर धरा धरा के पार कहाँ सदा फल घर किया फूल पड़ा संसार.
Thank you, Monica ji. So now everybody can sit down for Shanti Path. Our last prayer is Shanti Path. In Shanti Path, we chant for peace for everyone in this universe. May Sadguru Dev bless the entire cosmos with peace, love, and prosperity. I would request Monica ji to recite last few lines of Shanti Path.
हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो शांति शांति माया शांति 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 जन शांति हो पूर्ण शांति माया शांति. ये प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर दूर हो सर्व अशांति। देव सदा फल शांति माए। शांति शांति सुख शांति।
Thank you, Monica ji, for singing Guru Vandana Arti and Shanti part in melodious and soulful voice. So this concludes our today's session. I would like to thank all of you for joining and making this satsang successful. I encourage everyone to ponder upon the topic that we discussed today. Special thanks to Vijay ji, Dev ji, Jessica ji, Dipti ji, Monica ji for their active participation. So see you all next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the same Zoom meeting. Have a wonderful day ahead. Jai Sadgurudev.
Jai Sadguru.